Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel for another video on Marvel Contest of Champions. This video is focused on Nick Fury. So as part of the Content Contributor program, we've got this character here at a 4-star level at 99 signature ability for a review. And to keep you fully in the picture, we get to keep this character for about a couple of days before it gets removed from our account, so we don't get to keep them. Now there's a lot to go over with this character, so let's get right to the point. One of the biggest positives going for this character is that it has immense powers for synergy improvements. So the kind of champion you want to have in your questing team to add more improvements to attack, how you deal with debuff effects, the list goes on. And unfortunately, this is where the first criticism really comes in, and there's not really many things I've got to criticize this character about. Now, the fact is, not a lot of the synergies are promoting anything positive for Nick Fury. It seems to be a case that other synergies are beneficial for other champions rather than him. But there are a couple that do work out for him. So Nick's leadership and as well the buff that involves the contingency plan. That's the only thing that seems to be helping out Nick Fury in this case. And also some of these synergies interact with the fact that if he's alive or dead in your roster, so if you're taking your questing team to something that you want to do and you're like, well, I actually need more of this or more of X and more of Y, just kill him off and you can have more beneficial effects, or keep him alive and it helps out other champions. For example, Restoration Kit. If for whatever reason he is alive in your questing team and you've got one of these 3 champions here in your roster, then everybody in that particular questing group does mean that you'll be able to shrug off certain debuff effects. They get purified, which, you know, is pretty cool. This seems to be a champion that a lot of players will go to go, yes, I want to create some synergy groups around this guy, especially because it just makes you just look at your roster in a whole different way. One of the synergies in particular that I really liked and thought, hey, that's pretty good, was Contingency Plan. So if you've got any one of these here, then it does impact for all champions. Now, when we're talking about all champions that get Fury-based effects, you know, there's a whole host of list of them. Gamora, Aegon, Angela, Hyperion, Crossbones, Medusa, She-Hulk. The list goes on with how that improves the duration, similar to like a Cosmic Supremacy type synergy. That is now a case you can, well, have this a bit diversified to all different classes of all champions that get Fury. Pretty impressive. And with Nick's leadership also being in play, it does mean your attack rating is going to go up in any case. So just imagine you're creating a team for whatever reason around having Nick, having Aegon, having the Contingency Plan synergy in. So you've got, say, Captain Marvel in there. That could be pretty good in any case. Some strong characters in there. Maybe throw in some other champions that benefit the effects of Fury. And you may have a really strong team with Aegon, maybe a different champion, Crossbones being brought into the current meta with damage output. Yeah, I mean, I really like the way that this is built and these synergies that complement others that maybe you wouldn't expect to actually use. So yeah, good champion to get. And also got me thinking, like, well, what synergy should I really use with Nick Fury if he is going to be a lead character? And I was thinking, right, skill domination would be a good thing because it increased the amount of bleed damage. And I was like, yeah, okay, that's a good fit. And also factoring a few other things into there, especially trying to complement that Fury aspect. So I definitely was doing that contingency plan. However, though, I was then going, right, well, what is Nick Fury's purpose? Is he a lead character? Is he a supporting character? Is he a utility character? Yeah, there's so many things that you really have to think about in this point when synergies don't necessarily directly complement the champion, where other champions have loads of synergies that are just specifically promoting and improving the champion that you're playing with. You know, take Korg for example. All synergies here will complement Korg, except for obviously the last 2, but the fact is there's still ones that complement. In the one that we've just seen, only 2 synergies complementing Nick Fury himself. Nick Fury's abilities seem to replicate this notion of going, right, so he understands all the other different characters and what they're going on. Tactical charges are things that are built up over time, and when you hit a certain amount, it's beneficial against different types of champions. For example, get up to 5 tactical charges and you're able to really go up against the Spider-Verse. I should be playing a clip over the top of me now, just basically showcasing that. So you reach up to 5 tactical charges and then you're able to can't miss any evaded attack, and it will come up with evade failed, which I thought was, I think it's absolutely brilliant. Reach up to 10 tactical charges and you're able to purify effects that target all debuffs. That is so handy to have. Get up to 15 and Nick becomes unblockable. Again, really handy to have, as certain circumstances will definitely mean for you to hit through blocks. Then you've got 20 tactical charges. All charges are removed and replaced with a Fury's Fury buff, which grants 2,000. And obviously this is dependent on the starage level. This will increase the more you go up the stars. So a 5-star version will have a different one, 6-star different amount. So the attack rating goes up. For 10 seconds, all tactical charges gains are doubled while Fury's Fury is active. Great. The easiest way that I found to either get tactical charges is either to take damage, which I don't really think that's a good idea to take damage unless you want to get yourself close to the life model decoy, which basically means when you're dead or it looks like you are dead or you go down to 0 health, it just then goes blah, 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 and back up again. But you do start degenning as per the signature ability. So how you plan to play this is up to you. Doing things the best way is tactical charges by building up the L1. So you build 4 tactical charges just by doing an L1. I think it may be best at this point to say build yourself past the L1 like you're going towards the L2. So you do 1 special, you hit through a little bit more, you then do another special. That means that you're up to 8. If you want to then scale that quickly, so that's the point that you're at 5 tactical charges, that's a quick way to get to that point where you're dealing with champions that maybe have that evading ability that's really annoying. But at the same time, you're at 8, so it may be quick to then get another one. Maybe at that same point, you could take 2 or 3 hits in order to get up to that 10 very quickly. That's what I'd probably say with that if you're looking to go against opponents that are putting some horrible effects on you. Or at the same time, you want to deal with Spider-Verse characters or those that evade quite heavily. So what else is going on for the character? Internal bleeds seem to be quite good. As soon as you reach 8 bleeds stacked, it then converts over into an internal bleed. And that can be quite devastating over a length of time, like 30 seconds. Which, you know, it's going to be amazing to see what the 5-star and the 6-star does. The damage output is going to be quite incredible. The other thing that we've got going on is the interaction with these 5 basic attacks. Now, one thing that I liked about this is knocking down the opponent purifies Nick's non-damaging debuffs. That again can be quite helpful depending on what debuff effect you have on. At the same time, when hitting into an auto block, Nick is stun immune and has a 100% chance to inflict a bleed. That's incredible, especially thinking that all those characters do auto block that, you know, annoy us. So that can be quite cool there. So he understands what's going on. They have really kind of touched upon his tactical mastery and strategic management of the whole Avengers and also the other characters of the game. It's going to be a really key character to go up against some very difficult and frustrating champions in things like Alliance Wars, and this guy's usage is going to be pretty insane. Oh yeah, can you go against that Iron Man Infinity War? Yes, I can. That Medusa? Yes, I can. Thor Ragnarok? Yes, I can. Go up against those spider people that do the evade? Of course. Bloody easy. It's just making you go, wow, this is a thing. Same with the Captain Marvel this month and the interaction with other champions. So I rate this. I think this is a fantastic little addition. Also, if you want to quickly get to that internal bleed quickly, I'd recommend doing a heavy attack. You get 3 stacks, just boom, just right off the bat, which, you know, otherwise it would be a bit difficult to then build them up. And by landing a combo end with a light or a medium attack has for different things. Either 1 second and there's a huge amount of bleed damage, or it's going to be a case that it'll be a slow burn over about 6 seconds. So your choice is really then what you want to do. It may be best to end on a medium and then look to put in a heavy attack. That's 4 stacks just right off the bat. And then it's a case of then doing that same thing on repeat to get that internal bleed quickly. And you can start stacking them. They do stack, so that's something that you could experiment with, especially with longer fights. And also just going back to the subject about Alliance Wars, if you're going up against a character that is a little bit frustrating, very defensive champion, then become unblockable at 15 charges. Remember, you can get hit quickly to get those 15 charges. And then hitting an L1 would be quite beneficial as it disorientates opponents, reducing their block proficiency by 50% and defensive ability by 70% over 8 seconds. Handy, very, very handy. In the spotlight for this champion, Caban recommend that you use the mastery for deep wounds. They also complement the use of suicide masteries to a degree, mainly to do with liquid courage and also to double edge. Also touching on enhanced fury, because that does help out as well, increase the effectiveness of those furies. And if you want to look at increasing the duration, then you need extended fury. 2 things that I'm a bit on the fence with using, but I do see more viability as more characters come into the game or get reworked or improved that have fury based effects, as we just touched upon at the early part of this video, like She-Hulk, like Crossbones, like Hyperion, like Thor, list goes on. And also with an awakened version, it's always good to have maxed out courage, considering that if the champion gets out life model decoy, then he's going to be at 30%. And if he's at 30%, then, well, he's lower than 50%. So when courage comes into play, that means it's going to be able to damage output a lot more by 20%. So that is going to help out a lot. At the end of the day, it's going to be up to you how you play this character. Some may opt for pushing to the L3 in order to benefit from the Fury's Fury and also with the internal bleed. So whether or not you create your internal bleeds and have Fury's Fury on at the same time and build up those tactical charges and then go for an L3, that is going to be your choice. And yeah, I really rate this character. I had a lot of fun playing with him. It's a bit tricky at times to understand things, but I think if it's your first champion and your first technical champion, then understanding the way that tactical charges work to reduce down things like evades enemies have, and at the same time those debuff effects, then it's a case these tactical charges are going to be your go-to sources to go up against difficult things in Alliance Wars. Also think about Alliance questing. Even some champions in Labyrinth of Legends, this guy can be brought along to just completely wipe through. And maybe it kind of like proves the point that he doesn't need a synergy behind him to be really good because he can stand alone. But at the same time, others benefit from his synergies. So that's good in some cases. I definitely would love to put him in with a Cat Marvel and as well as some other champions that are going to benefit from Contingency Plan. And maybe at some point I'd have to kind of kill him off through a quest in order to benefit from some positive effects. But yeah, like I said, really enjoyed this character. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider putting a like on it. If you have a comment on this character, then put it in the comment section. And remember that there is a bit of a downside to this. In doing the content contributor program in the future, we won't be able to change the way that we test things. So if we go up against the most difficult content, which will be by next time a Act 6 grind, then we technically need a 5-star version in order to test that out. So yeah, we can only limit ourselves to testing against stuff like Act 5. And if we're talking about Act 5, then this guy is going to be great for it. So if you're looking for a character that you want to get at 4-star, put up the signatures and then be of benefit going into stuff like Act 5, some unavoidable damage, some frustrating damage, then yeah, I completely rate using this guy. Thanks very much for watching this video. If you want to subscribe for more Marvel Contest Champions based content, then please do, and I shall catch you in the next one. Bye bye for now.